ChaosGallantmon finally makes a comeback with all the new cards from the EX4 alternative being set. Digimon fans, welcome back, and today we'll be showcasing the brand new and updated version of both the Megidramon and ChaosGallantmon deck. ChaosGallantmon is actually one of my very first Digimon deck profiles I ever made on the channel, all the way back from BT5 format. The artwork and design of this Digimon just looks so cool to me, and I'm very happy to see all the new support for it after waiting for so long. This new build focuses on digivolving towards your Megidramon and setting up the new ChaosGallantmon in trash for the main combo to maximize your plays and on-deletion effects. Just like what Gallantmon does best, it's also really good at controlling the board at the same time, as there's tons of effects that deletes your opponent Digimon and eventually trashes your opponent's security to finish games. Like always, I'll be showing you guys how it all works later, but first, let's get into the deck profile. Alright, like always, let's begin with our rookies. Starting off, we have the 4 Digimons from EX2. I feel like just having the red base is just more consistent. It has better rookies to sort of digivolve into and for searching, and giving the draw power with its when attacking once per turn is always what we're trying to go for. Finding pieces is what we really want to do so with our particular build, and yeah, that's basically what we're going for, and the 4 eggs is all you need. Then, to go into our rookies, of course, we still play the EX2 Gallantmon, being one of the best Gallantmons still in this particular deck, just because it searches very, very nicely. Being able to on-play revealing top 4, grabbing yourself one Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name particularly, and a Tocado among them, potentially getting 2 hits is always ultra valid with this guy that you always want to be hard playing. Giving really good inhurtable as well, because when attacking once a turn, if it has a Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less, which is really good for getting rid of floodgate rookies, especially those who stop you from gaining memory. Really crucial for this particular deck, because you do try to tend to gain quite a bit of memory with their effects to synergize overall. Therefore, definitely a 4 copy, no less. Next, moving into our new Gallantmon right here, we got 3 copies of the EX4 one. You guys can juggle between 4 or 3. This is actually really important because it simply just has an on-play effect. If the total number of cards in both players' trash are 20 or more, it basically has rush, so you can easily just go and do some cheeky swings. It does help you win games as well, essentially, with this card, which is why it's really important. It does cost 1 to digivolve on top of any red or purple egg, but you get to digivolve for 0 specifically on any Gigimon, and Gigimon, that's why it's being a very important egg that you have to be playing in the deck, and just a really good card for sure. Then we have 2 copies of the BT12 Gallantmon. This one's also your secondary searcher. On play, revealing top 4, just grabbing yourself all Tocados that you reveal to your hand. Tocados are super important in your deck, as we all know, because it helps you synergize with all your combos later on, and with its inhurtable of giving extra 2000 DP to the Digimon if it has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name during your turn, is definitely very nice, because it can beef up your top end and make it even stronger, is what you're really trying to look for. But 2 copies is really all I need for sure for now, just because we do want to make more room for different types of Gallantmons. And then we also got another 2 copies of this one from EX3, which has the on deletion, deleting one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less, and if there's no Digimon deleted by this effect, both players trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Trashing cards from the top of your deck is great for your game plan. Deleting smaller stuff is also great for your game plan. Also, digivolving for 1 on top of Purple Egg, but again, 0 on top of Gigimon specifically, so definitely a very nice card. Last but not least, I still like to play 2 copies of the Gallantmon X Antibody, just great for cycling, for digivolving for 0 on top of Gallantmon. Just another great rookie, and being able to delete lower end stuff as well with this particular guy is always really nice. This is more of a flex spot, honestly. You guys cannot play this at all and just like put in the different kind of Gallantmons that you prefer. The Gallantmon ratios and the Gallantmon lineup is really just based on your own personal preference. The only ones I would really say that you need to stick to would be the 4 of EX2 Gallantmons, and then at least the 3 of the new EX4 Gallantmons being the most important ones. And otherwise, all the other ones you can play however kind of way that you really like, and whatever suits your personal preference and style overall. So the good news is that we'll be getting a new Gallantmon with the BT13 versus Royal Knight set, and it's coming real soon. So if you guys are fans of Gallantmon and want to see me cover more content for it, then be sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell right now to stay tuned. If you just can't wait and want to see deck lists sooner than everyone else, then definitely join the Avault Club, as well as you'll get access to my entire arsenal of first drafts and updated deck lists. Also, give this video a like while you're at it, as it greatly helps, and I appreciate the support from all of you. That's it for our level 3s. Let's talk about our level 4s. And the first one I do want to showcase you guys is the brand new black Growlmon right here. It digivolves for 3 on top of a level 3 red or purple, but you can digivolve for 2 with Gallantmon in name. So really nice, because then you can digivolve on top of Gallantmon X as well, but otherwise everything else is just Gallantmon. It has one digivolving, trash the top 2 cards of both players' decks, then you get to return one Gallantmon or one card with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name from your trash back to your hand, which is really good. This card is essentially like Calling from Darkness on legs for this particular archetype. Being able to grab your pieces back while you're trashing is just super good, so that you can find your pieces and again build your stack and go for your combos. One of these best cards to have to come out from EX4 100%. It also has an inheritable of a deletion. You get to return one Gallantmon or Growlmon or Gallantmon card, exactly like it's when digivolving effect, essentially to grab your pieces back once again. So you consistently being able to cycle and play and continuously is just so good with this card that you definitely have a 4 of. Next, I still have the 4 copies of the ST7 Growlmon from the Gallantmon starter deck, just because it has a really good inheritable of being able to gain a memory when opponent's Digimon is deleted by battle or by effect, and you definitely want to go for this, and I definitely really like it. And for its 4 cost hard drop, definitely comes up every now and then for sure. Then to round off for all of our other level 4s, 3 copies of the other BT12 Growlmon right here, just when digivolving, letting you play a Tocado if you don't have one, and giving the inheritable of extra 2000 DP. DP is also nice to have every now and then, just so again you can beef up your top end. And yeah, Tocado is just super important, and I do want to utilize it and play Tocados as much as I can. Being able to play Tocados for free is just absolutely value when it comes to early stage of the game because of getting into this guy. It's just super important. You guys can juggle between 2 or 3 again, or 4 even, just based on your own personal preference, but I think 3 right here is just a really good number for me at the moment. That's it for all of our level 4s. Let's talk about our level 5s. Now our main level 5 is this particular War Growlmon, which digivolves for 4 on top of a purple level 4, but we get to use this black box text to digivolve for 3 on top of any Digimon that contains Growlmon in its name. So when digivolving, both players trashes 3 cards from the top of your deck. Then if either player has 5 or more cards in their trash, you get to play one Gallantmon or Tocado from your hand or trash for free, which is again really ultra good value, because being able to play multiple Tocados, you can stack their effects, and again Tocado is definitely what you need to see as soon as possible in this particular deck and build. And again, trashing cards from the top of your deck just synergizes very greatly with the whole game plan again once for all. Then we got the 2 copies of the BT12 War Growlmon. You guys can again play between 2 or 3 depending on what you personally prefer, but this one has the when digivolving, deleting your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. If you didn't delete anything, you get to digivolve this into a Gallantmon in its name for its digivolution cost and reduce the cost by 1, which is also going to be really nice synergy. I do prefer this one particularly more, just because we can climb up very quickly into our digivolution stack and just go hyper aggressive when we need to. It also has a very good inheritable, which I personally really like. At the end of attack, once per turn, if your opponent has no Digimon to play and this Digimon has Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, you get to gain 2 memory back. So lots of value, so you can do your blitz combos again with this particular guy, and I'll showcase you guys more how good this card really is. And then last but not least, I still like to sort of play more Growlmon X, particularly just because we can pop multiple things, you know, pop wide boards, select targets, and gain memory back from it as well. It's just a card that you really like to see every now and then. And because we mainly focus our level 5s on War Growlmon, we can always be digivolving it for 0, so to get into War Growlmon X. So this one's a little bit more like a flex spot card, just a personal preference and style taste. You guys can play just War Growlmons or Black War Growlmons completely based on your personal preference, but this is what I'm currently running, which I just really like. That's it for all of our level 5s. Let's talk about our level 6s. And first and foremost, the brand new ChaosGallantmon, which looks super cool with the alt art, is finally here. Digivolving for 4 on top of a red or purple level 5 for 4 cost, but otherwise you get to digivolve for 3 on top of a War Growlmon in name, so you're always going to be digivolving for 3. It's very unique because you don't really actually want to be digivolving this card as much. It kind of feels bad when you do, because what you really want to actually be seeing is this card being in your trash. Why? Because it has a trash effect specifically. At the end of your turn, by deleting one of your Digimon with Digivolution cards and Gallantmon in its name, you get to play this card from the trash for free. Now it has an on-play effect. It deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with 7000 DP or less, and for every 10 cards in both players' trash, you get to add additional 2000 DP to the DP base that you can delete on your opponent's Digimon, which is going to be really cool. So it is great for getting rid of bigger stuff, and potentially you can just clear your opponent's board when you can pull off these crazy combos. And like I said, really cool alt art. Really happy that we get to, you know, see it come back with ChaosGallantmon in this particular build and deck, and super excited, being one of my personal favorite Digimons out there. we actually have a secondary, or more so actually our main level 6 of the deck, where we actually want to be playing Megidramon from EX2, and we have 3 copies right here. This card is actually the main go-to Digimon that you want to be Digivolving. And the main thing that we play this card is because the name of this card / Digimon is always treated as ChaosGallantmon. So you can fulfill the names. It is searchable as well, which is going to be super important. And it has a when Digivolving effect, deleting one of your opponent's Digimon with 10,000 DP or less. And if you don't delete anything, both players basically mill the top 5 cards of their deck. And the whole point of being able to trash more cards is really about setting up more cards in your opponent's trash and in your own for resources. And you really want to be seeing the EX4 ChaosGallantmon specifically, so that you can set up for your longer term combo plays, which is always going to be ultra value. To combo and synergize with its secondary effect of on deletion, you may play one Gallantmon and one Takado from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. So yeah, really nice, great synergy with the new ChaosGallantmon, which again, can't wait to show you guys the combo. So really powerful boss Digimon deck right here that you always want to be getting into. Then to round up for all of our Digimon, very simple, 2 level 7s of the Gallantmon Crimson Mode. I'm just hoping one day we get a Gallantmon Crimson Mode, like the Chaos version. That would be really cool, ChaosGallantmon Crimson Mode. But otherwise, you do Digivolve it for 6. From time to time, you trash so many cards of your opponent's top deck, and you build up their trash. This card is actually effectively super strong when you get into it, because you can very easily trash 2 securities or even 3 securities and swing for game to help you finish, basically delete a whole bunch of stuff when you're Digivolving, deleting all your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP, and then of course with it's when attacking, you, as you guys know, trash 1 security and you add 1 more trash for every 10 cards in your opponent's trash. So you can again potentially trash a lot of security with this guy's effect. Lots of trashing going on, but super powerful card. Helps you win games, helps you finish games. You're hyper aggressive final boss Digimon that you always want to see too. That's it for all of our Digimon. Now let's talk about Tamers. Still very important, as I've been talking about this card the entire video. You still want to see your 4 copies of Takado. Seeing more of it, the better, because you can stack with its effects. Giving your Growlmon, Gallantmon, and its name Blitz, so that you can swing and have value before you pass your turn, is always super good with this card. Comboing with anything that you delete by suspending them to gain a memory back, again, essentially. Just very important and really strong cards overall. And yeah, definitely 4th, because you definitely want to be seeing at least one of them during your games, and more you see the better. Then we got 2 copies of Analog Youth, really good for early game just to find pieces, also set up your trash, and synergize and combo with your on deletion effects, so that you can gain a memory back, hatch an egg as well, so you're always keeping up with momentum. This is always a really good tamer to have, but really comes down to your personal preference of what you want to play, as I have more suggestions later on too. That's it for Tamers. Let's talk about options. We have to play 2 copies and at least 2 copies of Win Rate right here for the 2 cost. And if you have a Tamer in play, you get to use the option card without meeting its color requirements. So very important that you do set up at least 1 Tamer most of the cases. In any situation where we have EX4 ChaosGallantmon in our hand, we don't want to see those, because we want them to be in the trash to utilize its effects. And this is what Win Rate helps you achieve. You can trash your ChaosGallantmon particularly, so that you can Digivolve into your Digimon for much lower cost. And that's really what the ultra value comes in with Win Rate, and you definitely want to be playing like at least a 2 of, in my opinion. Last but not least, we got 2 copies of the typical red memory boost, great for searching, great for delay, you know, all that good stuff. Standard staple card that you always want to be seeing for most decks anyways. That's it for the 50 card main deck. Let's talk about all the other different cards that you can actually also be adding, and to sort of like spice up your build and change the style a little bit based on your own personal preference. The first one is, some of you guys might be wondering, why don't we play this Growlmon from EX3? Keep in mind, its effect is not on deletion. It has an errata. It is supposed to be actually be when Digivolving. It was a mistake, just so you guys know. So when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less, and if no Digimon was deleted, trash the top 2 cards of both players' decks. So really good for the milling combination. And again, Digivolving for 2 on top of a Gallantmon. Popping like Floodgate rookies is great as well, or any searcher rookies that your opponent hard plays is always really nice. And with its inheritable of when attacking once a turn, you get to delete one of your other Digimon to give this Digimon security +1 for a little bit more aggression. If you guys are all about that and you like to delete your own stuff to go for those combo plays and whatnot, definitely a pretty decent add for sure. But yeah, for now I prefer not having it in the deck generally. And then we also have the new EX4 Black War Growlmon right here, and there's a very specific reason why I'm not playing this in my deck. Is simply because I still run War Growlmon X Antibody, and War Growlmon X Antibody can't Digivolve on top of Black War Growlmon because it's called Black War Growlmon. But otherwise, if you want to switch up your whole level 5 lineup, playing this card just to mill a little bit even faster is definitely something that you can consider, because Digivolving for 3 on top of a Growlmon in its name, you trash the top 3 cards of both players' decks, and you get to choose any number of your opponent's Digimon with their DP up to equal to 3,000 and then delete them. And then for every 10 cards in the trash for total cards on both players' trash, you get to increase the 2,000 DP to the maximum. So it's kind of almost like War Growlmon X effect very similarly, but the only downside and the difference for me is that you don't gain that memory back when you do delete stuff. And the other thing is this doesn't provide an inheritable, and I do kind of prefer having a little bit more inheritables, which I kind of like when I ever go up and build into my stack. So that's really all about it, but otherwise this is still a pretty good decent card to, you know, help you mill faster for sure and control the board. Next, the other one is I thought of playing, and I tried playing this older Megidramon, the specific purple one. It can digivolve on top of red or purple level 5. However, the only downside with this card is that it doesn't have that specific text that lets it treat itself as a ChaosGallantmon, so it is not searchable. But otherwise, for 3 costs, it's very efficient because both players trash the top 5 cards of the deck when digivolving with no requirements whatsoever. And initially with my original combo is that it would be really cool with its on deletion, because if you have a Tamer in play, you get to play one level 6 Digimon card with Gallantmon in its name from your hand or trash for free. So then if you ever in a situation have 2 EX4 Gallantmon set up in your trash, you can use one of them at the end of turn to delete this guy to play it, and then this guy's effect on deletion can play the other EX4 Gallantmon, ChaosGallantmon out as well. Or if you play any other regular Gallantmons as well, kind of have a really good synergy. And yeah, pretty neat card right there. But like I mentioned earlier, there's just no real efficient way to grab this card other than drawing it, just because it's not searchable from any of your targets or even recurable from back from trash generally. And yeah, that's why I don't play at all. Otherwise, you can also then play another Gallantmon. You can play the BT12 Gallantmon, which is kind of decent, you know, just to have the raid. This one's still kind of nice, trashing security, deleting your opponent's stuff as well. It does have some quite good applications. If you ever want to play it, I would suggest like 1 or 2 copies of it if you ever do want to change up your level 6 lineup a little bit. Then for other different types of Tamers, I did originally play Tide just because I want a memory Tamer, and it's red also, and it just gives me security +1, which really gives me a very good aggression. And since Megidramon is like super strong with a lot of DP, you can always like survive those checks very easily, and it's just always super nice. But overall time, I feel like I just want to do more combos, therefore I kind of replaced this guy with Analog Youth instead. So just a really nice suggestion if you want to go for aggressive playstyle. Then for the other Tamer, you can also even play Matt, even just as a one-of. Again, the similar idea. If you want a memory Tamer and you can grab something purple that has option or Digimon back from your trash, and also just has a lot of great synergy because you mill a lot of stuff, and you might end up finding some stuff that you want to have from your trash, and then playing this guy afterwards, you know, you can grab them back is always kind of neat as well. Next, for more different kind of options, we all have like Calling from the Darkness, just a really, really great option. If you can't find a way to delete Megidramon and you have to delete it yourself, Calling from the Darkness is just a very nice way to do it. However, the reason why I don't play these type of cards, also including with Deathclaw, same idea, as well as Megidoflame, is just because that with the on deletion of Megidramon, you really want to be deleting it with ChaosGallantmon's effect instead. So therefore, you actually don't need these cards to delete your Megidramon. Just because you want your Megidramon to continue to stay on board, make pressure and pressure your opponent and force them to deal with it. And if they don't deal with it, eventually you would delete it yourself with ChaosGallantmon. So you don't really need to use these cards. That's just my personal opinion on this part. But if you guys do want to play that kind of stuff where you can delete your own Megidramon and do those kind of combos and do those kind of cool purple plays, this is definitely some of the cards that you can definitely add in for sure. Alright, that's it for all the cards that I want to show you guys. Now let's talk about the combos and the strategy of how you want to be playing this deck, which is kind of fun, really, really cool stuff. Of course, you're always going to be hatching your egg, and you want to be digivolving into any of your Gallantmons. Of course, this particular Gallantmon from BT12 and the EX2 one, you want to prioritize on hard playing them and digivolving the other ones instead, just because, you know, you can search with them. Searching is just really important and really good for the deck generally, and these Gallantmons don't really provide much inheritable, which is totally fine, because like this particular Gallantmon especially, seeing it in trash later, it's just really, really nice because you can do your rush combos. So it's always what you're trying to look for. Play your red memory boost. You want to find your ways to get Takato, whether you have to hard play it, but otherwise you can save it for potentially playing it differently via effects for free to maximize your value. Otherwise, playing your Analog Youth is, you know, again, going to search for your pieces as much as you can. Now, as you're going into your level 4s, you can really decide whether if you want to digivolve in raising. If you see this particular one, I usually just digivolve in raising and just continue to build my stack and cycle through cards. But for these guys that have when digivolving effects, this is when you want to push it out, or you might just want to digivolve it on top of your searchers for whichever one that you see. both of them is just really good, because with Black Growlmon right here, you trash the top 2 cards of your deck and you get to grab something back. Usually in the early stages of the game, you don't really get to grab something as nice, just because you have lesser choices. You know, you have nothing in trash and you only trash 2, you really only get to pick one or the other card. But once you fill up more trash in the mid game, that's when you really get to be super flexible with this card as well. Therefore, I kind of like to play this Growlmon usually, or Digivolve into this BT12 Growlmon, just because, again, I can just set up my Tokados as soon as possible and as many of them as I can. The more you see, the more value it is. Don't worry about it. If you have a chance to play another one, pay the memory and go ahead and do so. Just because, again, seeing multiple Tokados is meaning always more value for you 100%. Now we're getting into our level 5s. Ideally, you know, whether when you push up, when you're ready to go from raising or whatnot, you can Digivolve into this War Growlmon right here. Trash cards, play more Tokados once again with no conditions right there. All you have to need to meet is someone that has 5 cards in their trash. You can then either play a Gallantmon, you can play a Gallantmon from EX2 to search again, you can play this Gallantmon. Usually these ones are the ones that you want to be hard playing again with the effects of this particular War Growlmon, so you can continue searching and find pieces and whatnot, and that's how you want to go about it. And these are the situations where, you know, I really like to control the board. You know, controlling the board and deleting my opponent's Digimon as much as possible. The smaller stuff is really what I'm trying to go for. And this is hence why I like to play War Growlmon X Antibody. Just so then you can Digivolve for 0, draw a card, pop even more things, and potentially gain a lot of memory off of it. You can gain a lot of memory with these guys in particular, which is why it's super good. For War Growlmon's X Antibody case in particular, it makes your opponent lose a memory, so not gaining, but you can gain from Growlmon, you can gain from Tokado. So, you know, let's just say you pop something with it, you gain 1 with Growl, and you can spend 2 Tokados to gain and go all the way back up to 3. And then now you can eventually just go into your Megidramon to pop even more things and gain more memory if you do have more different kind of inheritables to come back or whatnot. But otherwise, you can just pay the 5 and immediately just swing in with Megidramon essentially right here, which is really ultra valuable, because the reason why you can swing in is because you can blitz with the Tokados effect, draw a card with Gigimon, and right here you have a super strong body present on the board, and that's at least 13k. Depending on what inheritables you have, you might even make it like 15k or 17k, and if you have this Gillmon inside its stack as well, you can just pop things with 3000 DP or less consistently as well. It's just ultra really great and really nice value. And again, milling more of your opponent's cards as you're doing so. Eventually, you want to be seeing your ChaosGallantmon in your trash somehow, one way or the other. You want to be milling it, or if you ever, you know, played win rate, which is why it's super value to have win rate, is because you can trash your ChaosGallantmon particularly to set up in your trash. Then in certain situations when you can wipe your opponent's board and pop a lot of things with your end of turn effect, then why not just delete the Megidramon, play this ChaosGallantmon to pop something, and then increase the DP for depending on how many cards are there in trashes and stuff like that. And, you know, clearing your opponent's board is going to be ultra value and super nice. Now with Megidramon's effect on deletion, you can also then now play another Tokado, you know, if you have another one, and you can just rack up more Tokados and stack them up even more. And you can play any of these Gillmons as well to continue searching if you want to in the early stages of the game. But otherwise, if not, it'd be even really nice to even just to play this particular Gallantmon, and depending on how much memory you have, you know, that you can suspend again your Tokado to gain the memory back, because something that is like level 6 or higher or 5 or higher has sources that was deleted, suspend analog youth, you know, hatch an egg, and then cycle through more. You can Digivolve if you have another rookie and then just draw another card. And now that you're back at 0 memory, where both your opponent has like a 20 total of cards in trash, you can even just rush with this Gallantmon right here in particular, and then continue to, you know, pressure with the ChaosGallantmon in the next turn. And then eventually, with so much cards set up in the trash, you can Digivolve into Gallantmon Crimson Mode. Then you can even like blitz and swing as well with it, and trash your opponent's security and trash more depending on how many cards there are in their trash. And because you milled a lot, you made both players milled a lot during the progress of like Digivolving your stack. This sets it up very nicely to help you finish games, which is always super awesome, and that's what you're trying to go for. And that's basically just really the whole idea of trying to play this deck in particular. Very easy and straightforward as well. Trying to get into your big boss Digimon as much as you can. Set up ChaosGallantmon so you can delete it with Megidramon's effect, and then eventually go into Crimson Mode as well. Just really fun and cool deck to play, and I'm just super happy with this new playstyle with the entire build. That'll wrap up for our deck profile today. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. I got a new discussion series called Why Nobody Plays on the channel, which is incredibly popular at the moment. So go ahead and check out the first episode right now. Links will be left on the top right iCard and in the description box down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and this is Avault, signing out.